Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Hello,
Yeah,
hello,
we're doing
hello.
good. Howdy.
Good to see everybody tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Southern Gospel Forward, episode 3 in season 2. If you don't mind, if you're watching on Facebook, please click that share button and share us with your friends. If you wouldn't mind, that would be a blessing. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button. We would appreciate that too. We are going to jump really quick into our sponsorships and just roll tonight. How about that, y'all? Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
We had several individual sponsors for episode 3 tonight. Daniel Garrett, Kyle Goodson, Elaine Harcourt, Daniel Hayes, and Andrew Potts. We thank them so much. If y'all see those names week in and week out when we do this, and we really appreciate the love and the sponsorships from our individual sponsors.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot to share. We're going to run through our business sponsors too. We've got several for the night. We'll go ahead and roll through those. Heaven Bound Trio, one of our faithful sponsors. Heaven Bound Trio, wonderful group. Y'all might have saw them at NQC in the showcase with all the other artists, and they did a fantastic job. I've enjoyed the CD I picked up there at NQC. Go to www.heavenboundtrio.com and check them out. We sure do appreciate them. The Champion Brothers, bringing it back to the Fayette Civic Center in Fayette, Alabama. The Dixie Echoes, along with Faithful Friends and Chosen Witness, will be appearing on November 9th at 6 p.m. The doors open at 5. No admission charge. A love offering will be received. And for more information, you can call 205-664-3803. Logan Taylor is a friend of ours. Logan Taylor Photography. He took our mug shots at NQC. I mean, our headshots at NQC and did a fabulous job. Y'all saw those, and you'll see more of that as we post. But go check him out, Logan Taylor Photography. He'll do a great job for your needs for photography. This one is new, and I want to talk just a second. Kristen Gray has known with Kristen Gray. Kristen Clanton, you may know her, and she has been a blessing to us. She is a blessing to Southern Gospel Forward. She is a blessing to know. And, you know, she does a lot of ministry in women's groups and goes and speaks to different folks. But I have got hooked on her podcast. She has the Known podcast on all the outlets, Spotify, Apple. Go check her out. I know it's geared a little more toward the female direction, but now I'm on my elliptical in the mornings listening to Known. She is just fantabulous. She is in the word. She's inspiring. She's encouraging. Will y'all go check her out on podcast platforms, Known with Kristen Gray. And you can also find her on Instagram as well. Check her out. We appreciate her. The Roby family. And I got to meet these fine folks in person at NQC. Fantabulous family, great singers. I've enjoyed my CD that I got there as well. We're thankful for them for sponsoring us. You can contact them at the information on the screen, the number 540-327-8759. You can go by email, the Roby family 4@gmail.com, or find them on Facebook, the Roby family. But this is an outstanding group, and go check their music out. And we certainly appreciate them for sponsoring us as well. A night of worship coming Friday, November the 15th at 7 p.m. And we got a lot of awesome groups. It's going to be at Hillcrest. I got to put my glasses tighter. Hillcrest Baptist Church in Lebanon, Tennessee. It's going to feature Josh and Ashley and Josh. She loved that, wouldn't she? Josh and Ashley Franks, Peach Goldman, Jeff Talbert, and Primitive Road, Sound Street, and the Promised Land Quartet. And y'all, I was struggling so hard reading that just then. I'm going to have to get a new prescription. But all this just jumps out as Southern Gospel Forward. Look at all the young folks on that. Y'all go check that out.
Different guests that we've had on the show.
Absolutely. Fantastic. So check that out. Appreciate them. Galleon Manufacturing, y'all, located in Sweetwater, Tennessee. The Galleon family has had that business for years and years. They provide the best in service for fabrication and metal machine shop work, and they believe in young folks. They love the young folks of Southern Gospel Forward. They support Southern Gospel music. If you're in that Sweetwater, Tennessee region area, look them up, and they will do you a fantastic job for anything you need in machining or fabrication. And then this one is special. This is close to me, y'all. On November the 21st, on a Thursday night at 7 p.m. at the church at Wills Creek in Gadsden, Alabama, the Collingsworth family will be appearing, A True Family Christmas. And y'all, I can't wait. I will be there. I just, y'all come join me. Y'all need to look this up. You can go to nqconline.com or call 1-800-965-9324 about tickets. But y'all check this out. This will be a fantastic Christmas event. If you're in anywhere in that area, you need to be there. So remember that. And y'all, I think that is a record time that I have made it through sponsorships. But I was trying. Sometimes we just talk too much about that. Well, we never talk too much about our sponsors, but you know what I mean. It can go a little long, and then folks right now are waiting on someone. We have promoted this, and they're not here to listen to me talk. They want to hear our guests. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and bring in. We are so tickled tonight to have Brooklyn Collingsworth Blair from the Collingsworth family.
Yeah.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
Hey, thank you so much for giving of your time. I tell you, I know y'all just got off of your tour, your fall tour, and you have a full house. So you giving of your time to us means a lot to us tonight. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to be here. I've actually never listened to the Southern Gospel Forward. So now that I see all of you in person, I'm like, I got to go look in the archives.
Absolutely. Please do. Yes. Yeah, we I've been doing this a little over a year now, and we love to have. We call ourselves young. I'm not. I'm kind of the papaw in the group, but most of everybody else on here is younger. 40 and below, somewhere in that range, and we're trying to connect the young artists with the young fans, and that's kind of our mission. So we're thankful for you being here.
Well, I love that mission because we need people to stay around to listen to this music. And so we need the young people to be listening to it. That's great.
Absolutely. Well, Brooklyn, what we'll do, our host panel will ask you some questions coming up, but kind of like everybody watching knows you, I'm sure, but kind of like to start out, just like say you were introducing yourself for the first time. There may be some folks who are meeting you for the first time and you're going to learn about you. Maybe just a kind of your cold opening. If you were introducing yourself or anything you'd like to say, we'd like to give you this time, and then we'll jump in with some questions.
Okay, sure. Well, my name is Brooklyn Collingsworth Blair, as he said. I sing with the Collingsworth family. I've sung with my family since I was full-time, since I was 10. And so at 10 years old, my parents went full-time on the road. Before that, sang for the first time on stage when I was 2. We did revivals and camp meetings and that kind of thing. And then my dad had another job as well. He was a choir director at a Bible college. And then when I was 10, God told him to go full time, and he quit his job and then told my mom. And so that was, so my mom says that they went to Wendy's because that's all they could afford. And she said they sat across from each other, and he told her, he said, listen, I quit my job today. And she said, you what? And he said, I quit. He said, I'm telling you, God wants us to do this. I don't know how, but we're supposed to do this. And Mom said, there's a fine line between God's will and stupidity, and I think you're about to cross it. But fast forward to now, I have 3 siblings, Courtney, Philip, and Olivia. We all sing together with my mom and dad. My mom's a concert pianist. My dad is a trumpet performer. And my sister Courtney and I play the violins, as well as my brother Philip does the drums. My sister Olivia plays the acoustic guitar. And we all sing together. And we've done it in this capacity for, this is year 25. And we all are married, all 4 of us. We all have our spouses on the road with us. They all are an intricate part of what we do. My husband is a sound engineer. Courtney's husband is a media and product manager. Philip and Charlene, his wife, she is the product manager as well. She does the warehousing and runs it from night to night. Michael just carries boxes for her. And then Dawson, which is Olivia's husband, he is our new tour manager as of March. And so there are 28 of us on the road now. And so he's got quite a big job keeping everyone afloat, as well as there are 9 grandchildren. So I have 4. My sister Courtney has 2. and Philip and Shar have 3 as well. So there are 9 kiddos and 2 nannies. As you can imagine, we need help. So yeah, we all travel together. We have 4 buses, so everyone's kind of broken up into families on the buses. So we still like each other at the end of the day. We're all together, at the concerts and and dinner and sound checks and all that. But then beyond that, we get our own space. So where I'm homeschooling, Courtney's homeschooling. We all kind of do our own thing during the day, and then at 3:00 we hit the stage and we do our thing. So yeah, it is a beautiful and blessed life, you guys. I'm so grateful.
That is amazing to think about the logistics of 4 buses and 3 trailers.
It's a lot going on.
Absolutely, and I got to hang out and meet Dawson a good bit when you guys were in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
I helped out at the product table, so I was around him some in Charlotte. So he does a really good job. He's a young guy. He's really jumped in there, and he does a good job.
Yes, he does. Believe it or not, he's got a Johns Hopkins degree.
Wow.
So he's a real smart dude. He actually played football for them. So, but yeah, before this, he was a headhunter. He worked for Korn Ferry, which is like an executive firm, looking for executives for other people. And then back in like January, I think he kind of approached mom and dad and said, listen, that tour manager job, I know I could do that. And I would love to be part of the ministry. Let me know if that opens up. And so they're like, whoa, okay, well, this could literally be all in the family if he were to join. Yeah. And so they prayed about it. I didn't have to pray too hard. So yeah, he's doing great.
Yeah, that I remember specifically that Tuscaloosa time y'all got delayed. You had a bus that had an issue, and so he was having to really work to kind of get things back in line. I think it was about an hour and a half delay. So
yes,
and I just can't imagine, like I said, the logistics. But I'm gonna ask one quick question, then I'm gonna get out of the way and let our young panel jump in. But so you live life like you just came off of the fall tour. And you just described your life basically with the 4 buses and the families and your school and your kids, and you have your nannies on the road, and then you transition back home. And so that is definitely different than living on the road in the buses. So when you get home, I mean, that has to be like a little bit of an adjustment period, right?
It is, especially for the kids. But we take a day or two when we get home. So this past time we got home on a Sunday morning. And so we didn't get home to the house until around 3. So the bus is parked at my parents', which is about 5 minutes away. And so while we're offloading the bus, because this is the end of a tour, so we strip the whole bus and clean everything and all the things. So it takes about 2 hours. I got it down to a science. It takes about 2 hours to strip the bus at the end of a tour. And so while I do that, the kids go over to my mom's and they play on the playground and do whatever. And then, so we didn't get home to the house until probably 3:30 or 4, even because we got there that morning, but everyone sleeps in on the last day for sure. But anyway, and then we get home, and for a day or two, we're all kind of getting acclimated. The kids are used to going to bed at 11:30 or midnight on the road. I know people think that's terrible, but when I first had kids, I tried to do, you're going to have a bus schedule and you're going to have a home schedule, and you are going to, and it just didn't work, them going to bed at 8 o'clock in the bus. It just didn't work. Well, I'm still on the stage, So anyway, I decided very early on when Emma was probably 6 months old that, you know what, she's going to do what I do. And when I did that, it was the most freeing thing as a mom. And for her as a kid, she was way happier. So yeah, it works for us and we like it that way.
That is awesome. I love it. All right. Well, look, I'm going to yield, and let's start with our young folks. And I tell you what, Riley, I know he helped coordinate this with you and get you lined up to come on. So I'm going to let him start. We'll go Riley, Evan, Avery, and Aaron. How about that in the order? So Riley, kick us off.
Okay. So you talked a bit about the beginning of the ministry. Kind of tell us about how you started singing with your mom and dad and how that all got started.
Okay, so they were a duet for a long time, and then, brought whichever kid was not shy up on the stage to do something, as a little cutesy thing. When I was about, I think they said the first time they heard me try to sing the alto part, I was 3 maybe. And they caught it on cassette because somebody was around that had a cassette player and they just pushed record. And I don't remember this at all, but apparently I started carrying a part when I was very young. So when I was around 7, they started having me sing the lead with them, and then mom and dad would harmonize with me. And that was kind of the Collingsworth family. When I was 10, we went full time, and I was singing pretty much all the time at 10. And we would do the family songs, 3 or 4 family songs a night, and the other kids would go sit on the front row, and I would continue singing throughout the night as a trio part when I was 10. So that was kind of how it got started. That was revival. Sometimes we were singing for 7 days in a row. It just depended on where we were at that point. And then that would be summertime, because when I was in 2nd and 3rd grade, my dad worked at a college which also had a academy. And so Courtney and I went to 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade at an academy, which is where we started playing the violin, actually.
Very cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That actually leads directly into my next question. I'm a huge like production nerd when it comes, and y'all's music is some of the best to listen to as a production standpoint. So how do y'all do about that? Because you're all musicians. So do y'all help compose some of the stuff that y'all sing, or who's kind of the head into that?
So my dad says every night on the stage that mom is definitely the music director, and that's so true. But everyone these days, now that we're all adults, everyone has an input in what we want to bring to the table as far as music, as far as the songs that we sing. Everyone brings ideas all the time. But mom definitely has the ear. Philip has amazing ideas. He's an engineer as well. He has his own studio now. And so Philip and mom are really great. But then we also, usually about a year in advance, when we first start a record, we start about a year in advance, and we bring in Bradley Knight, who is our producer. He comes to the house, comes to mom and dad's, and we spend 2 or 3 days figuring out what we're going to sing. And so we have people throughout the year leading up to that. When people find out we're going to do a record, we get thousands and thousands of pitches. I forget how many thousand it was for the last one. But so my dad usually goes in first and starts listening, dwindles it down to a few hundred, then brings it to mom. And then mom starts listening. They dwindle it down to around 50 or so before they bring it to the whole team. So anyway, that's kind of the beginning of the process. And then Bradley comes in for that. We listen to those 50. If we don't feel like we have everything we need, then we start fishing, and we go on YouTube. We start looking in the hymnal. Literally, we do. And this is like a 3-day process. And in that 3 days, we usually figure out mostly everything we want to do, and we start laying down. We go to the piano and start just kind of sketching out arrangements. And Bradley and mom kind of just do that together. Now, it's funny, before Bradley, mom did mostly everything. Wayne Hahn was our producer back then. And Wayne arranged, but not usually the vocals. Mom would usually arrange vocals. Wayne was all, the orchestra dude. He's amazing. And so anyway, but mom was very heavily involved in the vocals for that. Well, nowadays, she still is, but she feels so comfortable with Bradley Knight that I told mom, I said, when he did our first record with him, I said, I've never seen anyone in my life give you your part. And I just saw it today, and I can't even believe it. So anyway, great. Yeah. So we work with Bradley, and we get our rough arrangements, and then he goes home, and we just kind of sit on it for a little while. About a week or so before tracking, which is maybe 6 months later, he comes again, and we go over all that we already did and say, we don't like that. I don't know why we liked it in the first place, that kind of thing. And then fresh ears, and we go over it all again and tweak it, and then basically make the final edits of what we're going to put, what we're going to track next week. And then we go to tracking, and that's usually Nashville. We've got a team that we use pretty much exclusively, because Bradley has people that he really likes, but Bradley always does piano himself. So he's a band leader, also producer, also there's something else. Also orchestrator. So he's a man of many talents. Anyway, and so we'll do scratch vocals in the studio while the band is going down. We'll go over to a little mic, all 6 of us, and we'll just kind of sing it so they'll get the feel. And then that tracking usually takes roughly 3 to 4 days, just depending. So usually we'll get babysitters. We'll go to Nashville and rent an Airbnb or something, and we'll just, hit it hard for 3 days. And then orchestra would usually come after that. And mom and dad and William, my husband, because he's our media guy as far as our social media guy. And so he will go with them. And Philip a lot of times will go to that as well. And then I usually don't go to orc because I'm not usually needed at that point. But they'll go down and they'll film it all. And because William usually does all the behind the scenes. So they'll film it all and they'll get that all done, and then we come home and then the real work starts. And mom and dad will go to the studio and do vocals at that point. So yeah, it's a long process. That might have been too long of an answer, but anyway, that's kind of
no. I was geeking out the whole time because that is like being pitched like over 1,000 songs. I'm like, usually whenever I ask like an artist how many songs get pitched, they maybe say 50 to 100, not anywhere into the thousands. That is like amazing.
That would make life easy. So and they come in all different forms. A lot of people send written, like in the mail, like big packets of like, 25 of their best songs. And we get that. We get CDs. We get, MP3s sent over email. I mean, you name it, we get it that way. And there's been some major diamonds in the rough. And you have to have imagination. Sometimes it's a twangy guitar that doesn't sound anything like the C-Fam, but yet the vocals, like the lyrics are so good. Mom says, you know what? There's something here. And then she goes to the piano and we just, put our spin on it. So you have to have imagination when it comes to the 1,000, pitches, because not everything is going to sound like you right off, but you have to, weed through it and think about how the outcome could be. So it's a fun process. It's exhausting though.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So I'm not super musical like he is. I enjoy the music and the lyrics probably a little more than he enjoys the production side of it. But your voice has always caught me listening to you guys. You have one of the smoothest alto voices. It's just so beautiful. But I know your mom, I'm sure, has been a huge mentor for you. But who are some other huge singing inspirations and mentors? Somebody who's poured into you a lot through the years.
That is so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, definitely my mom. She was kind of my vocal coach on my life, so that was helpful. Goodness, besides mom, to listen to, since I was a kid, I've loved voices like, I love Natalie Grant. I love her spirit. I love her vocal choices. So I get a lot of influence, and I love her tone. The tone that can go husky, but yet can be crystal clear.
Right.
Something about that is just very, very cool to me. So I love that kind of influence as far as vocal techniques and stuff. In gospel world, like CeCe Winans, I love her heart. I love the way she can communicate a song. Back in the day, and like Sandy Patty, I was fascinated with her as a kid because I'm not like an operatic singer, but yet I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever heard in my life. Now my kids think I'm the coolest opera singer in the world because I do it all over the house. But no one else will ever hear that. Anyway, but yeah, Sandy Patty, she was like huge to me when I was a kid. I've never seen someone be able to command a crowd like that, but then yet sit down on like the step of the stage and talk to them and have them right here. Just incredible. So she's a special person that I watched when I was growing up. Another voice I really enjoyed growing up was, and she's underrated in my opinion, was Terry Franklin, or Barbie Franklin, Franklin's wife.
Yes.
Barbie was a great singer, and they did a lot of duets, and I loved duetting. I thought that was so cool. And so I listened to their stuff a lot when I was growing up. I loved Nicole from Selah. So this was before Amy. Todd's sister, Nicole, she had that husky thing going on too. So I loved her. So there was a lot of different people that I listened to that kind of, I don't know if it may be into what I am, but kind of just tuned my ear to, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. I like that from her. I wonder how that would sound if I tried all those things together. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at.
I love that.
That's great.
That is awesome. So you mentioned that you played the violin, play it very well.
Thank you.
What drew you to that instrument in particular versus piano, like your mom does?
Oh, goodness. Good question. Well, mom always made us all start with piano when we were kids to get the basics. And then if we wanted to veer off to another instrument, she was fine with that. But she wanted us to be able to read notes on the piano first. So we did that. But before we started the piano, we actually begged to play the violin. Courtney and I started together. We were so young. I was probably 6 or 7. I don't even remember why. I do know that we would use sticks in the backyard and act like we were playing the violin. We were just so mesmerized with it.
Awesome.
So a lady came to our school from a local violin place when we were little, 2nd and 3rd grade. repping their rental program. And so we came home with violins that day without asking our parents. We did. And it was and we wanted to do it so bad. And so mom and dad said, okay, we're going to try group, because our school did group lessons, violin class. So we're going to try that first. If y'all, still stick with it after however long, then we'll let you do private. And we were gung ho after that. So we went ahead and we did the piano thing. And mom said, if you still want to do it after you learn these basics, we still did. So we did the group lesson, and then we went on to private lessons, and played all my life.
Very nice.
Cool.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Well, we made one round through our young folks, and we'll go ahead in a second and hit. We have a lot of folks watching. We have a big crowd, and we've got some questions and some hellos. So we'll hit that in just a second. But ringing. We have not had a doorbell ring in a long time.
I'm really scared.
Wow.
So okay. Well, why don't we see who is at the door and see? Hey, look here! It is Bouldin and Maria.
Hey,
Hi, Joanna. Oh,
Joanna Jane is here too.
Look
It's
at
your
you.
first interview.
Aw, that's precious.
Congratulations on your first Southern Gospel Forward episode, Brooklyn. Woohoo!
Thank you.
So, Brooklyn, Ben and Maria are longtime friends of our show, friends of us. And so we also knew you had a friendship there. So I was talking with them today and thought that they might pop on and ask kind of a surprise special guest question.
How fun.
Yes. Well, Brooke, what are you going to do now in between this time of fall tour and Christmas tour? You have all this time on your hands.
Oh my word. You know what? It's nothing glamorous, I promise you. It's going to be normal mom stuff. Like, for example, all 4 of my children are growing out of their clothes right now. So we're going to go to the basement and get all the tubs of the hand-me-downs, and we're going to do all that. So yeah, I'm going to be teaching school, and our curriculum only does 4 days a week, thank the Lord. So we're going to do school, and then just all the normal fall stuff. The kids want to go to the pumpkin patch, and so we're going to live up the normal life for the next 6 weeks before we go back on.
Yes, I love that. We've been through so many life experiences with the CFAM. We've been through tornado warnings.
Oh, wow.
Many trips, vacations. We've been, she did my hair on my wedding day.
Yes,
and life has been so good and so sweet. In fact, she's one of my closest mom friends in the industry. So much so that I gave birth to Joanna on July 30th, and on August 1st, the CFAM was in Peoria, and I waddled my way to that church.
She did.
And I was with you, Brooklyn, like the day after you had Winston, or maybe 2 days.
Yes, you were. I was at the house, and Ben and Maria I think you guys were driving through or something, and they were coming through. They're like, we have to see the baby. So they came through, and it's precious. And then back, before William and Michael got into videography, Ben would always do our behind the scenes videos when we were doing a new album. So Ben and Maria were at our studio many, many times when we were doing vocals, and Maria would hold whatever baby was a baby at that point. So
it was great. Yeah, I feel very blessed that we got to be in so many Collingsworth sessions of them recording their vocals, and we got to meet Donnie Wahlberg at a restaurant randomly.
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did.
We've just had so many experiences. One of the nights after the vocal session, we were driving back to their house, which was probably an hour from Cincinnati. Yes. And there was a huge tornado warning, and you were driving maybe the babies in your minivan.
Yes.
And we were riding with your mom. And your mom's like, oh, Jesus, help us. We have to pull over right now. So she's pulling you. We pulled over in a gas station. We've just had many exciting moments. You can come back. Yeah, all of our kids are awake. So there's no promise that we're not going to have a lot of distractions.
That's all right.
That is absolutely those are good distractions.
Way to go, Ben.
Distractions. So yeah, that's why when we talked, I said, hey, it might not work because you got a little bit of stuff going on right now, but I do thank you for giving a little bit of time. Do you have maybe another question or something else that you might
have a question for Brooklyn Benjamin?
Come on, Ben.
Oh.
His is
Let
like,
me think.
how's William doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. William, no, this is what William's doing. So William went golfing about 2:00 this afternoon. He's like, "Oh, I'll be back in time." He got here about 15 minutes before I had to come on here. So I was scrambling trying to get ready for this. So right before I came on here, I was getting ready in the bathroom, and Wellington, my 3-year-old, walks in, and he is gray, as in his entire body is gray. His hair, his hands. He had gotten in the fire pit outside, and you guys, he threw soot all over himself. And he looked, you guys, I have a video. I'm going to post it to my stories tonight. So y'all go look. I'm telling you, I couldn't help it. I didn't know whether to be mad or laugh my head off. Like it was just, he looked so innocent.
Of course.
He just walked in and
happened right now.
This is my life.
No. Yes. And I was like, okay. I was like in the middle of makeup. I was like, well, okay, the tub's right there. Go get in it. I didn't know what else to do.
Step in time.
Yes, literally looks okay. Little Michael on Mary Poppins. Okay, that part, the step in time part. Literally, you know how his face looks? Yes. That is exactly what he looked like. I'm not lying. So, now y'all have to go watch Mary Poppins.
Okay.
Oh goodness! Oh my goodness gracious!
You come up with a question, Ben?
What'd you say, Scott?
Did you come up with a question, Ben?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. Oh, here, Bennett's in here too.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I have to think of a question. Just give me.
Just
a minute.
come back to him.
Okay.
Back to me.
Well, one thing, and like I said, Ben and Maria have been precious to us, friends of our show, friends of us personally, and I'll go ahead and say this: we are going to have them back on at some point in season 2. I think we've decided that. I think they're game for another run with us, so I think we're going to have them on, and who knows who will ring the doorbell for them? You never can tell, but.
Bring the whole C-fam next time.
Yeah.
But I love the friendships within Southern Gospel. I love it. I mean, I'm behind the scenes. Nobody much knows me, but just watching and just watching the closeness and the real, the realness and the relationships of y'all interfamilies. And it's just a blessing to see sharing life together. Those things you just told about, that was, I just love it. Everybody sees you guys on the stage. And that's the picture that people get is the time when you are up there on the stage. But, there's so much life that goes on, just like all the rest of the experience. So I love that sharing.
Yeah.
That's so true. It's a true family.
Yes. Come on, Ben.
Brooklyn, I don't know what questions have been asked since this has started, but Brooklyn, what song has stuck out to you when you've recorded? Has there been any song that has moved you while you recorded in the studio?
Oh goodness.
I know that's a heavy question.
Yes. Okay. So this past album, usually it's whatever song Courtney is doing. And because I don't know why, but something about her buttery, mellow voice and the songs that usually they have her pedaling, it just brings me to tears every time. So okay, for example, this most recent album, when she recorded His Strength is Perfect, I just bawled like a baby. I mean, it was so beautiful. And Michael and Courtney's story about their adoption and everything, every song that she has done in the past few albums have kind of pertained to where she's at in her life. And so they always get me so much. And another one is Olivia. So Olivia is almost nine years younger than me. And so I've kind of been her second mom. And so because of that, when I've watched her progress vocally, and I can't imagine how my real mom, like her real mom feels, my mom, but I've watched her progress vocally. And when she went in the studio and did Great Is His Faithfulness, last album, and she hit that real high note, great is his faithfulness, in the like strong belt and chest voice. And I was so proud. I just bawled. So it's not always a very spiritual, sweet moment. Sometimes it's just, I'm so proud I'm crying. So
okay, but I'll say this. That's such a testament to like who Brooklyn is, because she's so other-centered. Notice how she did not like share a moment of her recording. And that's just, she's always been everybody's cheerleader. And that's what makes you beautiful, Brooklyn.
That is so sweet.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria. Well, you know what? Usually I would not say myself because I'm very critical. I'm my own worst critic when I'm singing. And so I'm way too intense to be able to get any of the feels right now when I'm singing.
One of my favorite moments ever, and Ben has it on camera, is when you were doing, what song was that? He will take away. What song was that?
Yes. He will find a way. He'll find a way? Is that the one? No, not that one.
It was on the Mercy and Love album.
It was on Mercy and Love. There was one where you were na 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 na. Paul and Silas, Damascus. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
What was that, Riley?
Tell you that I'm here to tell you that the Lord is good.
Don't.
Oh, it is runs in the family. Yes, you're right. I think you're right.
It runs in the family. Yes. And you have to do this when you're in the studio. You have to come up with all these different variations of like how you're going to sing it. And your mom already has an idea in her mind of what she hopes it will sound like.
Oh yeah.
But she lets you guys kind of work through it for a while. And so Ben was videoing your mom's face when you were going through all your variations. And it is one of my favorite pieces of footage ever. Because that's go time for Kim Collingsworth. It's it was great. But I'll just piggyback off of what you said about Courtney's songs. I just feel so honored that we could be in the studio when she recorded Your Ways Are Higher Than Mine.
Yeah.
And that's really all I want to say. It was just the most powerful moment ever.
It was so special. And thankfully Ben got that on video forever and ever. So thank you, Jesus, for that. Oh my goodness. That was a sweet moment.
Yes, it was.
I know the Lord said don't be jealous, but y'all telling all these studio stories is just making me Man.
Listen, we have people pop into the studio all the time when we're in Nashville and when we're down in Cincinnati. You want to come and pop in while we were recording, you're more than welcome to.
Aren't you living in Nashville this summer? I just might.
I'm telling you, do it.
I'm on my third year of a music degree, if that gives me any qualifications. So
where are you going to school at?
I am going to our local community college here in Alabama called Wallace State. We have one of the best music programs as far as community colleges in the United States. And I'm currently in the jazz band as a drummer. So you killed it at NQC, Ben. I wanted to tell you that. I never got to catch you, but great drumming skills. Made me proud.
Thank you, Evan. I was probably up there 9 times that week.
Oh, my word.
The cathedral stuff, though, you killed.
Absolutely.
I love that old cathedral stuff. It's some of my favorite music.
Absolutely.
I grew up with it.
Right? Yeah, you
love it.
That's all right. As a kid.
So Ben and Maria, y'all are family, so y'all are welcome to hang out as long as you want to. I mean, totally up to you guys. What you want to do, but I don't want to hold you up any longer than you want to be. We'll keep kind of moving on if that's okay. And
all right, bye guys.
I love it. That's awesome.
I just noticed that your name says Father Christmas. It was tickling me. But no, this is Brooklyn's interview. And
I'm just noticing those names.
We
just happy to be
somebody
here.
Her threshold is running out.
I understand
you all, and we love you, Brooklyn. You're the best.
Oh, I love you guys too. Love both of you.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
They are precious folks, and we love them to death. Wanted them to share a little bit of the night. So
we have. So cool.
Thank you for sharing that. I love those road stories together, and I just love hearing it. I'm a behind the scenes kind of person. I love to hear, just like when you were talking about the production earlier, and that's one thing to me that stands out with the Collingsworth family. I saw the fall tour twice this year, and both times the precision and the excellence, I mean, from beginning first note to the end, it's just there. I mean, it is just, the spirit of excellence is just is tangible, and then hearing how y'all start to bring all this together, it was just really is interesting hearing how all that comes. Because to get to that point, to the stage that y'all do produce, has to be intentional. That's not happenstance. That takes production. Real quick, producer Jason, you asked me how many of these to hit. we'll kind of play it by ear a little bit because we want to get back to our panel, but let's bring in some quick howdies and we'll run through these really quick. Okay. Well, there's one. The Collingsworth family. Hello.
That's probably William. That's probably my husband.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. All right. Megan Edgeworth is a faithful listener. She says hello and thank you for checking in. Brianna Harrell, one of our SGF family. Hey.
Hi, Brianna.
Nicholas Wilkie. Everybody knows Nick. Brent Bigby says hello. Good to see you, brother. Caitlin Grindstaff says hello.
Hi.
Tiffany Roby from the Roby family checking in with us. Elaine Harcourt. Good evening. Thank you for sponsoring us tonight, Miss Elaine. Hannah Bradford. Hello, fam. Good to see you.
Hi.
Larissa Logan. Thank you for checking in. Good to see you. Kaylee Widener. It's so cool because, most of these that are commenting are, what would you say, y'all, from age 15 to 25? Is that a good range, kind of these hitting in? That is so awesome. Brian Park watching from Ohio.
Yay. OH.
Miss Annette McKee Brown, Hannah and her watching again from Mississippi.
Cool.
Miss Johnny Parrish, she's a faithful watcher. Thank you for checking in with us. Miss Johnny J.P. Turner, another young watcher, and love getting to see Family Tour in Pensacola. And we got John Sanderlin from Alaska.
Oh, cool. We love Alaska.
Absolutely. Steve Krampitz from Illinois. We're checking in. Hey, thank you for getting that blue T-shirt, Steve. We appreciate that. Larry Jones from the Heaven Bound Trio. Thank you so much, brother, for supporting us.
Hi.
Nancy Cook Farley from Lakeland, Florida.
From Lakeland.
Miss Harrison from Winter Haven, Florida. And I'm glad that all y'all made it through that hurricane. We all were in our prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Priscilla Franks. Hey, Miss Priscilla, how are you doing? Autumn Hodnett checking in and saying hello.
Hi.
And Miss Eunice Slocum is in Michigan. And y'all, apologize hitting these fast, but we got so many tonight. Miss Rachel Baines, that's producer Jason's wife. She's checking in and saying howdy. Samantha Lewis from Kansas. Boy, I wish we had our state counter tonight because I think
11 at the beginning of the episode, but I've already seen like 4 countries, so.
Yeah. Pat Barker. Brooklyn is easily one of the greatest female vocalists gospel music ever had. And I agree.
Thank you, Pat.
I absolutely agree. When you hear Brooklyn sing, there is no question who is on the mic. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Peggy Matthews from Clinton, Mississippi. Hi, Miss Peggy.
Hi.
Becky Masters from Ohio. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Another from Springfield, Ohio. Kay Tyler. Chase Emery is checking in and saying hello. Hey, Chase. Love seeing our youngins check in. Beverly Goldman. Hello. Good to see you. Nathan Dewberry, another young man checking in. Good evening.
My buddy.
Okay. This is a good question from Miss Hannah Bradford, Brooklyn. What are some tips that you've learned over the years to keep your voice fresh from night to night?
That's a great question. Well, when we're doing concerts, we have to not only sing, but then you go and talk to people afterwards at the product table, which is also very wear and tear on your voice. So really, when I say vocal rest, it's kind of non-existent. It's not easy to do when you're on tour. That's obviously the number one. But if you can't do that, I recommend a lot of vocal hydration, not just water, but I recommend a vocal like nebulizer, which I use. And it's hydration that goes directly to your vocal cords. Water takes a while, like days, to get to your vocal cords fully, but vocal hydration, like a mist that goes straight over your face. I have a mask. And it goes directly to your vocal cords. And that really does help, especially in dry climates. Another way, eat Lay's potato chips right before you walk out. I'm telling you, it will work every time.
You're not the
and
first
that's not
person
just
I've heard that from.
Oh, really?
You're not. Our vocal teacher was recording an album, and I was like, so how did you do this? Because she said she did it in one day. I was like, how the heck did she do that? She said, Lay's potato chips. And I was like,
that's right.
What?
That's an old,
so
old Dolly Parton trick.
Hearing it from you, I believe it now. Like, that's pretty awesome.
It works. Philip and I will eat, like, very often we'll eat them in the intermission before we go out, especially if we're struggling at all. with any extra moisture, whatever's going on. We just grab a bag, and it's not just an excuse to eat chips, y'all. It works. I promise. Something about the salt and the oil, and that mixture on your vocal cords is magic.
I've heard that the oil coats and the salt cuts. So
that's right. That's so true.
Kennedy Hayes. Hey, Miss Kennedy. Good to see
Kennedy.
you.
Hello.
Thanks for checking in. Blaine Rayleigh. Hey, bud. Good to see you.
There.
Joe Elward Misselbrook from Christchurch, New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yo,
Awesome.
I love that that area in the culture. So like seeing him on that's so awesome. It's so cool.
Rachel asks, what's your favorite scripture verse and favorite hymn, and why?
Favorite scripture verse is Psalm 19:14. May the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, my strength and my redeemer. I try to live by that one. And then favorite hymn would be It Is Well With My Soul.
That one's good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And Courtney is checking in. Thanks, Courtney, for watching us and joining us tonight. Miss Barb McGee from Brooklyn.
Barb. Yes, Miss Barb is our prayer warrior. She heads up our prayer team on Facebook group.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Jack Scott from Birmingham, Alabama is checking in and saying hello. Tiffany Roby, let's say, I love the piano and violin introduction to sing your praise to the Lord.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
It is fantastic.
Thank you. That was a fun one to do. That was kind of, Bradley and Mom and Philip kind of came up with that one. And Philip kind of was the one that decided to stage it that way with the lights and all the stuff. I just basically go wherever the X is. They said stand on the X.
That is excellent. Jennifer Vernon loves the Collingsworth family and wish you were coming to Columbus, Ohio this year for the holidays for the concert.
Yes.
Yeah. Gloria Minch, seen y'all many times recently in Erie.
Oh, yes, we were just there.
Okay, Pat Barker. I'm always nervous with this. Maybe I think he's legit with this. Have her tell the story of how they recorded Who Is He in Yonder Stall. It's one of the most perfect recordings you'll ever hear.
Oh, goodness. So we that was our first record at Ocean Way, which is the big, huge old church studio in Nashville, if you're not familiar with it. So we were mesmerized to be there, and we were just doing our orc days there. And so we went in and we decided, because Mom loves a free feel, she doesn't like to be tied to a click. And so we decided to free flow that song. And so, which orchestras don't like. Orchestras like their click. And so, but this would have been with Wayne Hahn. And so Wayne was out there, and Wayne was a little bit of a nervous wreck, but he was like, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, but you guys are gonna have to come out and sing it. And so we went out there and sang it live with the orchestra. And that was a moment, because we'd never been in this place before. And I mean, this orchestra, it's one of the best. And the Nashville String Machine is insane. And we had to stand out there with them. And I mean, it was all going down to tape, and we were singing it in the same room with them. So there was going to be bleed. So you had to be on or else. And you didn't want them having to stop because you messed up. So it was like, get it right. You ain't got a choice. But it was cool. It was really, really cool. And I was, oh man, how old was I when we recorded that? That was 15 years ago. I was probably 20. And it was a special moment. It was nerve wracking. Oh my goodness. But it was a very special moment. Yeah. We had a blast. And poor Olivia, she was like, 14 years old.
Wow.
But it was great. It was great. Really neat, special memory.
Perfect. Oh, thanks, Scoot. I appreciate that. Randy Dale Shelnut, known as Scoot, says, hey, all you youngins, and Scott, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Good. All right. Well, we've made it through. So I think I have a quick question, maybe two, and then we'll come back to the young panel. So Brooklyn, talking about the four of you guys, the kids coming up, did all of you naturally hear harmony? You talked about how you started singing the harmony part. You were the third. Did all four of y'all naturally pick up and just start singing harmony, or was it something that took? Did anybody have a little time easing into that?
So I don't remember ever not singing it, but and Courtney as well. Like she sang the lead for a long time just because that's what the kids did. But then when it was time, she moved right down to alto, no problem. And she's the one that actually hears what we call the crack parts. And that sounds terrible, but it's basically those parts that are in the middle of everybody else and they're making the cool chord, but you can't quite tell where it's coming from. That's Courtney. She hears all of those. So what she does is she makes a roadmap in her mind. And so she'll go, da, 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 da. And she goes, all right, got the roadmap. And then she will sing it. It's pretty impressive. It's almost like she visualizes it in her brain and then she pulls out those weird notes out of nowhere. So I can't do that. That's not my talent at all. I mean, I can sing it if you beat it into my head, but those are hard for me. So it's very impressive. But then Philip, I remember he was a teenager. He was probably 12, maybe 13. And he told Mom one day, he said, I don't sing a part. I sing lead. And Mom said, yes, you do. You sing. You're in this family. You sing a part. And he said, but I don't know how to sing a part. And she was like, come here, sing this. And he did. And she said, that's a part. You just thought you were singing the lead. So he knew it all along. He just thought, whoops. Oh, y'all. There you go. I just kicked the camera. Sorry about that. Anyway, but he knew it all along. He just didn't realize he was doing it. And then if anyone ever had trouble figuring out their part, Mom would just teach it to them as the lead. And then they thought they were on the lead. So little trickery there, but it worked.
That is great. And speaking about those parts and speaking about Courtney and what she added in. So on the fall tour, listening specifically to Sweeter as the Days Go By.
Yes.
I am a junkie. I listen to a lot of different types of music. I'm a junkie for a group. I don't know how many people know who they are, but Take Six. It's
yes.
Okay.
I grew up listening to them.
Okay. So I'm hearing things in Sweeter as the Days Go By like I would have expected to have heard in a Take Six concert.
Yeah. Let's see. Sweeter as the days go by.
Yes, absolutely.
There's your Take Six part. Yeah. So Bradley is a Take Six fan as well.
Okay.
So that's where those are coming from.
That's what I was curious if that came from Kim or if that came from Bradley. That was going to be the direction I asked. Okay.
Yes. So that is the very first a cappella song that we have ever done to where my mom always arranges all of our a cappella stuff and then we memorize it. She just pounds out our part on the piano, we memorize it and we go. But Bradley actually wrote this one out. So we read sheet music for this one because he arranged it from front to back. And so, which is the first time we have ever done someone else's a cappella piece, which was freeing in a way. It was fun. Freeing for my mom for sure, because she didn't have to work except for to look at the paper. So that was cool. So we read that one. I've got lots of videos, background or backstage videos of us memorizing that. And the first time we ever did it, it was terrible, but we finally got it. And, my dad's not like a true bass. He's actually baritone, but there's quite a few bass notes in that song that he has to get down to. My mom's always like, no, lower. That's not right. Poor dad. He's a baritone having to sing with a tenor, which is Philip. And so, and yet they ask bass notes out of him all the time because he's the only one that can hit them, halfway decent. So my dad's quite versatile.
Well, that song, of course, I enjoyed everything, but that one captivated me just because of hearing those harmonies, and that's like, anyway, I'm a junkie for it. So yeah, tell Bradley to keep that coming. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Brooklyn, are you okay for another round of questions from
go for it.
young folks? Okay, Riley, kick us off.
So we had some questions in that Q&A thing you helped us share on the forward page. And I'm just going to ask a couple questions from that, in the next couple rounds. But this one, I'm sure over 25 years, you've had a lot of embarrassing moments on stage. What is one of the most memorable?
Oh, man. Okay, so there was this one time. So women in heels, you always have to watch out for the cracks and holes in the stage.
Yeah.
And we usually have our chairs kind of towards the back of the stage. And so we stood up someone was singing a solo and we were all supposed to stand up and walk to the stage and join them, start singing. Well, I stood up and couldn't move. And so everyone walks to the stage and I just stand in the back of the stage and stand there and sing the song. And at the end, my dad's like, why are you standing back there? Why don't you come up here? And I was like, I'm stuck. I can't. Both of my shoes were stuck in a crack. And I had just stood just enough. I mean, hard enough when I stood straight up all my weight. And I mean, I'm telling you, I went down And I was stuck. I either take my shoes off and walk to the front, which is even weirder. So I chose the less weird option by standing in the back of the stage and singing by myself. So then afterwards, my dad literally comes over and gets down and pulls my shoes out for me. It was so embarrassing, but I was like, it is what it is. Actually, I've had some bad experiences. We were at a church once and I got my heel caught in the air register in the floor and started walking and drug it down the aisle with me. That was beautiful. And the pastor, that I didn't know what to do. I started walking and it started coming with me. And I'm just taking steps and here's this metal thing clanging. And I was like, what do I do? The pastor was right there. He knelt down on the floor and pulled it off my foot. I was like, and I was a teenager. So, you're embarrassed about everything. And I was like, oh, Jesus, just put me in the ground right now. I'm done.
I've got myself stick in an air register like that, but I haven't ever pulled it with me. Now I'm going to be scared.
I'm telling you, it takes talent. It takes talent. Apparently, I'm the only one that has it.
Irrational fear unlocked. No kidding.
Well, I don't even know how you follow that. My goodness. I can barely walk in just regular shoes. That scares me. Thank God I'm not a girl. Wow.
Oh, man.
So I know you've not really watched Ford, but one of my iconic questions is asking everyone what their favorite road trip snack is. And so, of course, y'all travel on the road.
Okay, so Walmart has this really good honey mustard pretzels. It's the Walmart brand. It's not any cool brand. It's just honey mustard twisted pretzels. Y'all, those are so good. I'm a big fan of those. I can put those down. And then as far as candy, I'm not really a sour candy type of person, but I really love chocolate. So just give me chocolate and I'm happy.
There we go. I asked that question because a lot of times people will watch this and now watch. You'll get it at the table like every day. So
okay, then if you're gonna do that, I got one more. Okay, so y'all know the Brookside chocolate brand? They do like the chocolate covered blueberries and pomegranates and any of those. Oh my goodness, those are addicting. Those are dangerous for me to have around though. I have to hide them from myself almost. So they're good. They're so good.
Okay. So I guess kind of going along the lines of Evan. Also, I wanted to apologize earlier. I said alto. I was so nervous looking at the numbers we have on tonight. I'm an introvert by nature. And I'm an alto, so I panicked and said alto. Your soprano voice is cute. I apologize.
That's totally fine. Oh, anyway, don't worry about it.
So kind of going along those lines, you talked about hydration and hydrating your vocal cords so that you can keep them going for a longer period of time. Do you have a favorite brand of water? Some people say water is water, whatever. I don't believe that. Each water tastes different. So do you have a favorite brand or does it not matter?
I do agree. Water does. I can't handle spring water. It tastes dirty to me. So yeah, I just can't do it. So smart water is my go-to. If I'm going to buy water that I really love, I'm going to buy smart water because I love smart water. Something about it just tastes super clean to me.
I agree. Yeah. Smart water's good. I just always like asking that. Some people are like, man, water's water, but it has a difference.
I agree. It definitely does. If I'm dying of thirst, I'm going to drink the spring water, but Lord, don't let me die because I don't want to have to drink it if I don't have
to. Right.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, man. Well, before the night ends, I do want to shout out somebody who works on your crew that I grew up in youth group with, Michael Ortel. And if he's not watching this, he's dead to me. Anyway.
Wow.
That's crazy. I didn't know you knew Mike. Oh my God. That's
and
amazing.
Actually I ran into him at a convention a few years ago when you guys were there, and I was like, what in the world are you doing here of all places? And so I didn't realize he was working for y'all. So anyway, small world. But speaking of small world, you've been all over the place, obviously, in all these years of traveling. If you could pick somewhere else to live other than Ohio, where would you pick and why?
Oh, goodness. Well, I love the mountains. We've sung in Montana and places like that they're just overwhelmingly gorgeous to me. So if I had to pick a place, I would definitely want to live in the mountains. Probably, Montana would be a real close first for that. I don't know. I've lived in Ohio pretty much my entire life. I've lived in the tri-state. So I've done Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana, but pretty much this area my entire life. I love all 4 seasons. And I don't like it to be freezing cold all year long or hot all year long. I like to have all 4. So that's why I love Central. So Ohio is definitely a cool place to live. Not the prettiest, for sure, but it's definitely a good place to live for all the seasons.
I've heard some things about Ohio weather. I've got a lot of friends from that area, and I'm like, oh man,
Yes.
I bet you the weather's great. They're like, no, it's the worst.
And then they're like, no,
well,
yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where, I always feel like things happen way earlier than they should. So like right now it's low 50s today. It's very cold today. My kids have been playing outside and coming in for hot chocolate. So I feel like I was like, all right, we just skipped the cider and went to hot chocolate. It's Christmas. Like that's what it feels like today. But then tomorrow it very well could be 80. So it does do that weird thing sometimes. You kind of just can't put your summer clothes away too early, or else you're gonna have to pull them all back out again.
That's what Alabama's giving us right now. We finally broke 80 degrees.
Whoa! It's fall.
Like, don't panic, but I'm pulling out the long sleeves.
Yes, that's funny.
Me, I'm good.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I just absolutely, Brooklyn, I do not want to take too much of your time. Are you okay with one more round?
Yes, it's 9:01. I'm good with one more.
Okay.
So this one is from me because I've been listening to the Collingsworth family most of my life. So if you could bring back one classic Collingsworth family song from back in the day, what would you bring back?
Oh, goodness. That's a good question. You know what? One we've tried to bring back before and we haven't been able to duplicate it would be "We Still Believe." Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's the one I would want.
Because if you aren't familiar with it, Philip was before his voice changed, and so he was probably 11, something like that, when we recorded that. And so I mean, he could sing higher than me, y'all, and I mean straight tones, clear as a bell, and it was pretty impressive. And he did this part where it's talking about let's see, it's talking about the second coming, and the line is, God's got one more big bang left to go. Except God's got one more big bang, and he goes all the way, left to go. I mean, full on chest, and it's just, everyone just kind of dropped their socks in the studio. We're like, well, okay, that just happened. So he would do it every night on the stage until his voice changed, and then it was like, big bang left to go. I mean, it was not happening anymore. So anyway, but we had tried to bring that back and, let me take it. It just didn't have the same feel. It just was not the magic that it had when he did it. So I guess that's going to be a memory. And we can pull it up on YouTube whenever we feel like listening to it.
Yeah, I remember watching Your Ticket to Music Hall. We would have the DVD and we'd watch that. And I think that one was on there. And so we'd watch that. We'd have clips of the Collingsworth family and we'd put them on the phone and we'd be watching them going places. And that was definitely one of my favorites growing up, was that one. And then I Shall Not Be Moved. And
oh, yes, that's a fun one.
That was probably one of my favorite albums too. That one was on.
Yes, I love that album. That Ticket to Music Hall, I was, I think, 18 when we recorded that. And my boyfriend, now husband, was standing backstage. And we were 18 and 19. We had just started dating. And yeah, I remember I was like, I had gotten a terrible sunburn the day before. And that poor makeup artist had a time that night.
Bless your heart.
Yes, it's terrible timing.
Bless your heart.
Goodness.
This is one, as you can see, I'm a huge Southern Gospel history guy. And I always love to ask Avery usually asks this one, but I originally asked it. So, if you could sing with any retired group, and in whatever lineup you can choose, which group would you sing with?
Retired group? Oh, goodness. Well, let me think about that. Let's see. Well, the Lanny Wolf Trio had some amazing songs. And obviously, they've been off the road for a long time. We actually sing a lot of their music. Let's see. Retired group. Oh, goodness. I'm not old enough to think about this question. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, goodness. You know what? Actually, if I could duet with Larnell, now that'd be cool. He's not really a group, he's a soloist.
Yeah.
That would be fun. So we did a concert with Larnell when I was a teenager, and we did a hometown concert here in Cincinnati. And he asked if the soprano who was with the group would like to do I've Just Seen Jesus with him. Apparently he does that different places he does. And I said, no way, Jose, there is no way I'm going to do that. And I regret it, but I knew I didn't have the chops back then. So
I need to hear this now.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's what I was thinking, man.
Oh, I'd be shaking in my boots. Oh my goodness. That'd be neat though.
So growing up with your sisters, your brother, your mom and dad on the road, I know sometimes our family sings like at revivals here and there when we're asked to, and Evan and I can tie into it occasionally over things, and mom has to give us the like look of I'm gonna kill you guys when we get out of here. Do you ever recall your mom doing it? Does she still do it occasionally? I thought that would be funny because I know we bicker like that. So
definitely. So you mean like on stage or like just in here?
Yeah, like on stage, like you better stop or I'm gonna come over this piano at all of you.
Yes. So okay, so if Courtney and Olivia get to whispering now this latest couple tours they have put Courtney and I sit on one side and Olivia used to sit on the other side. Well, now they're back together. So if Courtney and Olivia start whispering too much, we'll get a look and mom will be like, it's just her eyes, she doesn't have to use her hands.
Right.
But then also if you're too loud, you will get a thumb in the back pointing down. And if you need to sing louder, you'll get a thumb in the back pointing up. If you are sticking out and she needs to hear one voice vocally from everyone, she will do this. That means one voice, like you need to blend at this moment. And then let's see, what's another one of her cues? If you get a raised eyebrow, it means you're sharp. Let's see, if you get a head cocked to the side, that usually means that she hears someone off, but she can't figure out who it is. And she's trying to figure it out. Yeah, trust me, I got her pegged, y'all.
Blame it on the other.
I got you.
That's good.
Wow.
That's fun.
That was fantastic. So over the course of this interview, we've gotten a taste of your musical preferences. Like the Take 6 thing just rang my bell. I love that stuff like that. So with that in mind, if you could pick a Mount Rushmore of musical albums, and it doesn't have to be just gospel music, it could be from any genre, what would be on your Mount Rushmore? So that's 4.
You know, what's terrible is 2 of them are going to be Christmas, hands down. So the Carpenter's Christmas Portrait, one of my favorite albums in the world, when that comes on, it's Christmas time. It doesn't matter if it's July. That comes on, it is Christmas. That was one of my favorite albums to listen to my parents would play that in the car constantly during Christmas. So that was my favorite. Let's see. So that would be one. Believe it or not, Michael Bublé's Christmas album was I absolutely love it. The Puppini Sisters and all the stuff that he put on there. That was an incredibly inspired album. Let's see. And then we're going to go way, way, way back to, let's see. Oh, goodness. I really like the Rat Pack. But I'm also I really love Eddie James too. Like, oh my goodness, it just kills me. So so I love oldies. So it's very hard to me to pick because then I can jump around and go, let's go hear Natalie Grant and I'm going to stand up and praise, so it's like, oh, it's hard for me to pick. But yeah, I would say the 2 Christmas albums, probably Rat Pack and what about a 4th? Okay, so the I Do Believe Gaither Vocal Band album. Do you all remember that one?
Yes, I do.
You Are the One. I believe that was Mark and David and Guy and Bill, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
And that was a very special album for me growing up. For some reason, I absolutely adored that album. So yeah, those are some of my top favorites.
That is awesome. The Carpenters thing, and I'm sure you've heard it, and they pulled a bunch of tracks off of the Christmas Portrait thing along with some of their other hits. But the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, actually Richard helped arrange all the orchestration and stuff for that. So they just added the orchestration to all those tracks. And so the Christmas stuff sounds even more like Christmas with all the Royal Philharmonic thing. So if you haven't heard that, go look it up. It's awesome.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, guys, this has been a blast. I don't want to take any more undue time from Brooklyn. Brooklyn, you have been a pleasure to be with us. Y'all, we have a ton of comments and questions, and I'm sorry we couldn't get to everything tonight, but thank y'all so much. I think this has been our largest concurrent crowd we've had over 27, 28 episodes we've had. So,
I know it is our largest.
Yeah, so that is fantastic. Thank y'all for joining us and sharing and doing everything you have to help us tonight. We appreciate that. Brooklyn, what I really like to do to close things out, anything that you would like to speak of in terms of Collingsworth. I know that you've got the True Family Christmas tour coming up. Anything that you would like to touch on or promote at this point in time for you guys?
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me on. This has been a pleasure. You guys are great to talk with. And also, yes, like you said, the CFAM Christmas tour, Feels Like Christmas, is coming up. We're starting the week before. Yeah, there's the picture. That was in my parents' house. It starts the week before Thanksgiving. So we are going to do Christmas before Thanksgiving. It's okay. Thanksgiving will still come. We're just gonna sing a little bit before there. I know some people are a little uptight about that, but I promise Thanksgiving we will take a break for Thanksgiving. But anyway, yeah, that's a 3-week tour. So we'll do 1 week before Christmas and then 2 weeks after. So if you can make plans to be with us, you can go to collingsworthfamily.com, like it says there, and find our schedule where we're going to be, and come and worship with us, and let's celebrate the real meaning of Christmas, y'all.
Yes.
I love that.
Amen. And I am absolutely looking forward again to the event in Gadsden, and I'll get that banner down there. Gadsden, Alabama. That's actually a week before Thanksgiving on November 21st. And if you come there, I'll see you guys there. I'm going to I talked with Dawson a couple of days ago. I think I'm going to help you off the table again, but looking forward to being with y'all. Come see it. It's going to be an excellent time. In Brooklyn, it's just been a pleasure to share this evening. Thank you so much. I know how generous this is of your time, with the household of youngins like you got. And thank William for helping us out and helping you out and letting you come on too, because we certainly do appreciate it. You've been a blessing.
Oh, well, thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure talking with you. And thank you for what you do, promoting gospel music and also keeping it young. I love that. Because we need we've got a great message, the message in our music. And so, and all the Southern gospel music artists. And so I think that keeping this music alive by getting it to the next generation is super important. So I appreciate what you guys do. I think it's awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Panel, y'all got anything else to share?
I think
it's been really fun being with us.
Absolutely awesome.
Been great. Y'all, thank y'all for watching us tonight. Y'all are a blessing to us. We will announce here in a few days who will be our next guest, and y'all can be watching for that. But until the next time, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Y'all have a blessed night. We'll see you again on Southern.
Bye.